What's next for you guys?
Well, like I said just before, I'm sort of like in a pivotal part in the business. It's really quite chaotic and exhausting at the moment because I'm sort of doing the work that I should actually have someone else doing. So for starters, the labourer, we're going to get that happening. The truck, get another foreman, and we'll get another apprentice. So growing the team.
G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Build Insight podcast. This is episode 37, part 2 of our chat with Andrew from Lou Projects. If you have missed part 1, I highly recommend you head back to last week's episode and listen to that. Otherwise, let's get stuck in. Enjoy the episode. It's just highlighting the importance of that collaboration process and being involved, like getting the builder involved early in the project. It really honestly does. It's a proven process and it reduces variations. Like you guys said, unfortunately there are a few things that pops up, but just unnecessary design changes and selection changes that can be so easily avoided during that process. So what about how during that design phase, Andrew, because I know you guys are implementing a lot more of the high performance building products and styles, that sort of thing. Are you pushing that in the early stages and getting that designed into the project, or how have you found that process? Because as we know, it's a lot harder to essentially try and bolt on a few of those building systems once the plan's already done. How are you navigating that side of it?
Yeah, well, we have basically standard details now. We've done enough projects to have standard details across all those junction points for most structures, I guess. So that's already, all of that kind of high performing stuff that's already sort of factored in our pricing. It's more the that part's really easy for us. I think we've been doing it for quite a number of years now, so it's really quite easy to price that in, and the boys just know what they're doing on site. It's just the architectural detailed stuff that we sort of just really, really push for. Like, well, how is that actually going to be built? That's really important for us to understand because it can change the price. We're not really, we're not pushing too hard on those high performing stuff. And generally speaking, we find the clients and architects that come and work with us are generally that way minded anyways, and they're already sort of pushing those details early on. So we're not really needing to, I guess, request that.
So Andrew, just on that, obviously you guys have done enough projects, as you said now, with using things like your WRB systems and all of our high performance elements. I suppose for a builder out there listening who's thinking of getting down that space, what are some key things that you did with your team when you were doing the upskilling phase? Was it going to open days, training days, so forth, mate, to kind of get that education to your team as well?
I started my sort of high performing stuff, I think back in 2019, and I did a HIA course it was an energy efficiency thing. Green Smart, yeah. So I started with that, and then during that course, and that was awesome. I love that. Like, even if you just apply the knowledge you get just from that workshop, it was like 3 days or whatever. That changed the way I saw building forever. But then during that workshop, they spoke about passive house, and I was like, "Oh, passive house, what's that?" So then I did that, and that again changed it and ramped it up even more. The thing with passive house for me is, like, I'm not really super dogmatic about those beliefs. Like, I appreciate the principles and I apply the principles to every build, but I'm not just buried down at that. Like, I'm not going to just be like, I'm only going to build passive house, because there's so many ways of, I guess, building to achieve a level of performance through either passive solar design or passive house. And the problem with passive house, as much as they might tell you do lose the architectural ability with some. And the thing for me is, like, we like those high-end architecturals because you're actually building art, another piece of art in the timeline of building. And for me, that's an opportunity that you sort of don't want to say no to. So like, I'm not going to be like, oh no, that's not design, passive house, I won't do it. It's like, that's a piece of art, I want to build that. But then you just apply I guess your high performance principles to that build, and then you fill in the gaps.
Dino, so I rocked up to site last week, got scratch bench tops, paint all over the windows.
Let me guess, Lukey. No goop?
No goop. And now we're spending big bucks trying to fix it.
Mate, Goop Guys roll on a thick, peelable, protective coating that saves your surfaces.
And your budget.
And your sanity, Lukey.
Seriously, check them out. goopguys.com.au. Protect your job from the start.
Yeah, you're not saying you're going to build something that you're going to leave an undurable structure, or you're not ignoring the fact that if you build something more airtight, you don't need mechanical ventilation and so forth. But you're mindful of what you want to get out of the best of each project, and not compromising of that project.
Yeah, but circling back to your question, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. I just kept going to different workshops and different courses. And the passive house stuff, and that was the two bigger ones for me. I've done some other ones in between, and then I've done a few like half day sessions with the boys with Pro Climber, stuff like that. And then we now that we got this shed, I'm gonna like prefabricate some frames in the shed, and then when we onboard someone, because the wrapping stuff is super important to me. So like, I want to onboard the guys and do a workshop on how we do that, because everyone starts developing their own little technique, and I'm like, no, let's all get on the same page of how this is going to be done. So yeah, I think we'll be just creating our own little workshops in our shed soon.
That's awesome, mate. We'll have to get along to one. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, come down, mate.
Yeah, explain that too, mate. So I've noticed you have been building a bit of a hub. So you've got a new sort of shed building that you've kind of set up for Blue Project's main office, and you've got a bit of a working shed, site shed sort of.
Yeah. We bought an acreage here in Terrigal a couple of years ago now, or maybe a year and a half ago. And then when we weren't at the time, we were actually looking for a warehouse to start, like build an office and to have some place to store tools and start building some stuff in the warehouse. And by the time we weighed up like the actual cost to rent something, I was just started looking at acreages, and I was like, you know what, we're just going to buy an acreage. So then we did that, and when we looked at this property, I saw the spot, and I was like, the shed's going right here, and it's going to be just around 200 squares. And then, honestly, 5 months later, once we moved in, 5 months later, I had an approval, DA approval for the shed to be built, and it was, and then I've finished this office maybe when Enzo was born, so 3.5 months ago, I finished it, and the shed's just in full swing now. There's a few things we need to add in, but the office space is about 55 squares, and the remaining's 170 squares. And it is absolutely life-changing. Like, just being able to bring materials back, sort things, not waste any like good material just left out in the rain. But the thing is, like, now it's like I'm spending a lot of my time in the afternoons or on the weekends sorting it out. So now we're at this like transitional stage in my business where I'm like, we need to employ a labourer full time, and we also need to we also need to buy a truck. So we're getting that happening hopefully in the next 6 weeks. I'm just a slave to the property at the moment in the business, so I'm keen to not do that.
That's the thing, mate. Building better and showing more care comes at a cost as well. I know we do a lot of separation of waste and stuff, and I think you guys sort of do similar things. But
any sheds or office? Like, do you guys have a little office space or?
Well, we're unique because I know Lukey does. Like, we're unique because I'm out in Macedon Ranges in sort of central Vic, and Darren runs things in Melbourne, mate. We kind of keep a bit of gear between both of our. I'm on acreage, and Darren's more residential in Melbourne. So yeah, we just try and think about where we're at. Like we've got our own scaffold gear and things like that. A big part of me would love to grab like a little excavator or something just for a bit of fun on the farm as well. But you know, it's easy enough to go and just dry hire it, and then you don't have to worry about the upkeep of it and insurances and stuff. But I actually just restored end of last year, just still kind of going with shelving and fixing it up a bit, but had a 1870s barn that was just neglected for many years, and been on the to-do list since I bought the property 4 years ago. So yeah, we just sort of pulled out the old rotten, there was like a family of rabbits living under the floor, and ripped it out, put a concrete slab in, and rebuilt the walls using recycled studs taken out of projects, and had some leftover thermary cladding, and I think we stripped out an old stable in town where I live and used the gal for some of the rest of the cladding. So no, we had a bit of fun with it, mate, and I think you can do that when it's your own projects.
I definitely know what you mean, though, mate. It changes your life when you got a space that you can actually sort of have that separation of work-life balance as well. You sort of go to that area, yep, that work, and then you're home, and you know you've kept all of the work stuff away from your house, and you might still have a small office in your spare bedroom or something like that, but it's not quite as full on as what you'd have in a space where you've got a principal place of work. So yeah, definitely, I can vouch for that for sure.
For over 130 years, Bowen's has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Bowen's as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build insight together with Bowen's.
Real people,
Real insights.
Yeah, for sure. It's been life-changing. Like, just to be able to clock off at 4, walk up, and actually just hang out with my family, And it's as simple as it sounds, it certainly has changed everything for us.
What's on the horizon for Lou Projects, mate? What's next for you guys? Anything interesting in the pipeline, or you're sort of balancing on keeping that high-end service in the evolving industry and client expectations? What's next for you guys?
Well, like I said just before, I'm sort of like in a pivotal part in the business. It's really quite chaotic and exhausting at the moment, because I'm sort of doing the work that I should actually have someone else doing. So for starters, the labourer, we're going to get that happening. The truck, get another foreman, and we'll get another apprentice. So growing the team by a significant amount over the next couple of months. And that's mostly to cater for, the upcoming projects that we have in that pre-construction phase. I've got another one starting in August, and then another one starting in October. And then we've got 3 major projects starting early next year. All of them, like I said, all the pre-construction. So the revenue is actually almost doubling from last financial year. So at some point you need to increase your staff to cater for that. And there's almost like this, it's almost like I need to figure out how the labour, the actual physical labour works out over the next couple of months, because whether I'll need to put on like an estimator too. So I'm like, I don't want to put on an estimator because I really want to do it myself, but it's pretty exhausting. So, but if I take that away, then I guess I can be a little bit more freer to, focus on the stuff that I'm super passionate about, and that's adding value into the industry. So I'd love to be on the tools, and I'd love to be estimating. Well, I don't love to be estimating, but no one says that. I would like to be estimating, because I know I'll probably capture the stuff that might get missed by a standard estimator. But so I'd love to be more involved physically in the business and everything else. But at the same time, I really want to sort of get that stuff out there that I've been sort of chipping away at and yeah, that's sort of like the thing that's happening over the next 12 months. So we'll see how that goes.
Good stuff, mate. There's I've just recently we've always done our estimating and all of our quoting. I've just sort of recently been letting go of that a little bit with V2E, doing modeling and takeoffs and stuff, and probably goes back to what I said before, and just that outlook that I need to become more of a reviewer of things and not so much kind of in the trenches of it. And I think you got someone coming in to do that sort of thing. I was so hesitant to do that, Andrew, just to the fact we all, as builders, probably have junk mails full of estimation companies reaching out to us through our websites. It's like annoying. So I was really hesitant because I thought, I'm not going to get some company just, throwing in figures, but, going through it with the networking that we do and sort of sussed it out and looked into what I can get out of it. And then the 3D modeling side of things that you get from it as well to legitimize what the estimations are. And then, we've kind of gone down that road of doing more the reviewing of things, obviously doing all the carpentry, anything in particular that's a bit more boutique that needs to be, worked in with contractors. But that's one thing in our business, mate. We're just kind of like trying to take off a couple of hats and manage what we need to do in our roles. Because we can spread ourselves pretty thin.
Can you tell me more about the 3D modeling takeoff stuff? What about that?
Yeah. So we'll have some stuff coming up, mate. But we'll be able to put some stuff on the show notes too. But yeah, so Vision to Estimating over in Lukey's hometown in Adelaide. So yeah, they've got a background of more truss timber manufacturing and so forth from that estimating side of things. And they saw a bit of a hole in the market where, there's more that can be done with technology here and helping builders with carrying out estimations. So yeah, their 3D modeling they're using is pretty great. I know they're just advancing the software as well. One thing that's really cool is you can kind of turn the layers on and off for it, and things like architects would use anyway, but from a builder side of things, there's new tools and stuff to help us as well. So we talk about not being on site. One thing I'm loving about it is that we can actually show the model to our guys on site, and rather than maybe confirm a phone call with the builder, they could just take a layer off and have a look at maybe like the framing components and see where a palmet is or see where a beam is. And one of the cool things is that actually every piece of timber in the takeoffs is labelled. So if we've got a takeoff list and they can't exactly see where something goes, they can actually zoom in on the model and go, okay, this is a 240 by 45 LVL. That's where that is.
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
So do you give them just the DWGs and then they just put it all through their system?
Yeah. So yeah, just run it through, and then we were talking before about your high performance elements, and that's something we're doing with them as well, is just really building up on our builder's DNA, which is something, a term I hadn't really kind of, we know our details, but the DNA side of things is huge because we all have a way that we want to build, and that's been a powerful way that kind of V2E work with you is you can, you might talk about your cavity systems and how you build your cavities. Like, are you using 90 by 35? Are you using 70 by 45? Are you using, 2B1? So that you're not just getting something estimated, you're actually taking that, and then when it comes time to ordering, you're not ordering something different that's been estimated. So, yeah, but no, it might be right down your avenue, mate. You might have to link you up with Tom from V2E.
What do you use for estimating now? Or what do you both use?
So we made the jump to Wonderbuild. Shout out sponsor of the show. So Wonderbuild was pretty sort of powerful. And I think they've got a great I suppose a great network that they're leaning on with the builders as well. And I know they're doing a lot firsthand with Future Builder and getting the information from the builders to see what they want and putting that into practice so that builders have more of a say in what's going on with the software, building software that we're using. So yeah, a lot of that's feeding into itself, mate. So might have to tee up a Zoom with you.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about it. I mean, we use Buildertrend, but which honestly it's awesome. But there's definitely a gap because I used to use Qubit years ago, and you used to be able to like measure everything and get all the 3Ds out of it too, which was awesome. But Buildertrend doesn't do that, so it has its limitations. So sometimes it's hard to figure out whether I've captured everything. So I like the idea of that.
Yeah, fantastic. But there's a lot of options out there, mate. I think we all need to find what works best for us. And as I said, that time, we don't get more time. So if we can find ways to find more time, then that's worth its weight in gold.
All right, Andrew, we're not going to hold you all day, mate. Before we wrap up, though, we've got a little section we try and do at the end called Rapid Fire. So we've got a few questions we're going to throw at you real quick. We call it Rapid Fire, but we never seem to be able to get short answers. But we'll have a go anyway. So just remember, short, sharp, quicker we can get through them, the better. So, Dino, I might let you kick it off this time. I'll hit him with the first question.
All right, Andrew. What's your non-negotiable tool or item you bring to site?
A tape measure.
Favorite building material to work with at the moment?
Pro Climber. It's always my favorite. I love this stuff.
Nice, mate. Oh, this is a good one. If you could build in any location in the world, where would it be?
Ooh, any location in the world. Las Vegas?
Bit of fun while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take that. Lastly, mate, one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self when starting in construction.
Ooh, piece of advice. I guess it sends back to what I said earlier. Just absolutely work on yourself. Well, that's when I started to see some seriously good things happening with the business. When I was just like, you know what, you need to sort your shit out. Because I wasn't always like this, you know. Like I grew up in a pretty hostile environment, you know, and that's just all I knew. I knew how to, the way I communicate was just like by yelling. So I'm not the person I used to be. So I would say to myself, fucking sort it out.
Awesome, mate. You can see you put a lot of work in over the years, and yeah, loving watching the journey, mate. And yeah, pumped we finally got in. We'll definitely have to try and do the next one in person and get into the studio for it, mate. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Andrew, but we've got at LOU.projects is the Instagram handle. Go and give him a follow and check him out. And I think I said before, but louprojects.com.au is the website. And yeah, definitely worthwhile check out there and go do some blog reading.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the opportunity, boys. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. And it's always good to flesh out what we could be doing to this building industry in terms of improvement. So yeah, thanks for doing what you guys do. You know, getting your work out there with Build Insight. I reckon that's incredibly valuable when you guys are doing some awesome stuff. So good stuff.
Get on you, mate. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words.
Pleasure having you in.
All right, mate. Well, we look forward to following your journey over the next little while. Guys, like Dean said, if you want to follow Lou Projects, head over to lou.projects on Instagram, otherwise louprojects.com.au. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you can find links to previous podcast episodes as well as links to our YouTube channel and Instagram. Guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll catch you on the next one.
We just need to say a massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters. Without them, Build Insight wouldn't be possible. So to Bowens, Circus Studio, Wonderbuild, Goop Guys, Calorie Building, and Backman Builders, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.